The Los Angeles police chief is asked to step down amid charges of racism and brutality. Has South Africa earned the right to do business again with the United States? And Clarence Thomas courts Senate votes on Capitol Hill. This is the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather reporting. Good evening. A major political aftershock from the Los Angeles police brutality case. A special commission has concluded that Chief Daryl Gates has served long enough, but Gates says he won't resign, at least not yet. Jerry Bowen begins our coverage.
700 witnesses and 1 million pages of documents later, the independent commission investigating brutality by Los Angeles police officers said today it's time for major change, starting at the top.
Chief Gates has now served for 13 years, and hence we believe it is appropriate to commence the transition in the office of the Chief of Police.
But the embattled Chief of Police said he's not ready to leave yet.
I don't expect to just run away. If the people of the city of Los Angeles believe, as the commission believes, that a chief should be restricted to 2 5-year terms, the people will speak.
The notorious beating of unarmed motorist Rodney King sparked the extensive review which focused on the use of excessive force. And the commission said it found a police department operating under a siege mentality with a code of silence that protects wrongdoers. Specifically, the commission cited what it called a problem group of officers, perhaps 5% of the 8,300-member department, who repeatedly misuse force. A problem aggravated by racism and bias, said the commission, as evidenced by various computer messages typed from patrol cars. Sounds like monkey slapping time. If you encounter these Negroes, shoot first and ask questions later. I almost got me a Mexican last night, but he dropped the damn gun too quick. Sergeant says, tell them to go back to Mexico.
The message is very clear that we need to start rebuilding LAPD, and we cannot do it with the current leadership.
If you read the report, you have to conclude that it is his style of management that has produced all of the problems we have in the department.
Among the commission's major recommendations, greater civilian oversight of the department and the chief, and changing the chief's virtual lifetime tenure to a maximum of 2 5-year terms, making the next chief more accountable. The present chief gave the investigation a mixed review.
How about the hard work of 8,000 police officers who've given this organization a worldwide reputation?
The commission concluded the Los Angeles Police Department could have uncovered the troubles on its own had it wanted to. Much of the disturbing and damning evidence comes from the department's own files. But instead of confronting the problems and the problem police, the report said, the management most often promoted them. Jerry Bowen, CBS News, Los Angeles.
The head of that blue ribbon commission that investigated the Los Angeles Police Department is Warren Christopher, one of the country's most experienced and respected diplomats and jurists. Mr. Christopher joins us now live from his office in Los Angeles. Thank you for being with us, Counselor. Chief Gates says he isn't going to resign. Doesn't it, or does it, now lay out the prospect of a very divisive battle in Los Angeles along racial lines?
Dan, I think it's a little early to conclude that. Our commission, 3 of whose members were named by Chief Gates, has unanimously concluded that the time for transition is now. Now means now from our standpoint, and I think we should let the report sink in for a few days before we conclude that there will be a divisive battle.
Was this a close call, the commission's decision, conclusion?
Was unanimously reached. The commission was unanimous on all of its recommendations. We met over a 100-day period, and I must say we worked in great harmony despite the fact that we came from widely varied backgrounds.
Now, what about the 3 to 5% of the Los Angeles police force, those are your figures, that the commission identified as, quote, a significant group of bad officers prone to use excessive force? What should happen to them? What's going to happen to them?
Well, I hope the police department will be anxious to find out who they are. We have agreed with the police department we'd not name any names, but we have these 700 patrol car transmissions with various offensive comments onto one kind or another, casual use of words like beatings, racist comments that you could hardly believe. Matter of fact, if this were a movie, I think the report would probably be X-rated.
Warren Christopher, thank you very much for joining us live from Los Angeles. President Bush is ready to lift economic sanctions against South Africa. CBS News White House correspondent Susan Spencer joins us now with that story. Susan, good evening.
Good evening, Dan. George Bush, of course, has never thought that the sanctions were a good idea, and he'll announce tomorrow that South Africa now has met the conditions necessary to lift them.
The law is very clear, and these 5 categories have been taken care of. There's no choice for the president. Sanctions will be lifted.
The 5 conditions. South Africa must free all political prisoners, abolish apartheid laws and the state of emergency, permit free political activity, and assure talks for a new government.
The real issue here is, 1, have we met the letter and the spirit of the law of the Anti-Apartheid Act of 1986? The answer is clearly no.
The White House says it only can deal with the letter of the law, not the spirit. But opponents charge the administration is being too literal. That while Nelson Mandela may be free, its narrow definition of political prisoner keeps scores of others in South African jails.
What are we rushing to for? We haven't rushed to remove apartheid before by any form of American policy. Why rush now? Let's take our time.
Others question whether race classification really has ended. And how can there be a claim of free political activity when thousands are still in exile?
Even if the conditions are met of the sanctions law, they do not have the right to vote. And these things, these very major issues are somehow forgotten.
But administration supporters say ending sanctions, in fact, will speed democracy.
By lifting the sanctions, we offer some opportunities for economic growth, so that democracy might also be enhanced by economic opportunity for blacks and whites and coloreds and all people of South Africa.
Opponents concede that there is little sentiment on Capitol Hill for reimposing sanctions once they're lifted. Their strategy then will simply be to watch events unfold and see if without the economic pressure, South Africa does continue to reform or reverts to its old self. Dan?
Thanks, Susan. President Bush's Supreme Court nominee spent part of the day praising some of the civil rights groups that have so far failed to endorse him. Clarence Thomas did so amid the latest indications that a bruising confirmation battle is shaping up. Bob Schieffer reports.
He'll need to, because as Thomas visited the Capitol, key Republican senators told CBS News getting him confirmed will be harder than they thought now that civil rights groups are so openly dubious about him. That's why Thomas tried today to reassure those groups.
I benefited greatly from the civil rights movement, from the justice whom I'm nominated to succeed, by organizations such as the Urban League, the NAACP, mentors like Senator Danforth, friends I've met since I've been in the executive branch like yourself.
That may be Thomas's only remark for a while, as he summed up the confirmation strategy.
I'm under wraps.
And rightly so, said Republicans.
Before his confirmation hearings even begin, these litmus testers would expect Judge Thomas to go beyond explanations of judicial or legal philosophy and answer specific questions about specific cases.
Republicans say Thomas's conservatism shouldn't be an issue, and an influential Southern Democrat who endorsed Thomas today agreed.
And who ever heard of such a argument that only a liberal black can be on the Supreme Court? Now, what sort of a country do we have where people would take that position?
In fact, civil rights groups have been challenging conservative nominees to the court for years. The difference this time, the nominee is black. No one is quite sure how that's going to play out politically. And that's one reason that a lot of senators right now are just as quiet as the nominee. Dan?
Thank you, Bob Schieffer. Still ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News. A plea bargain today could fire up the missiles to the Ayatollah criminal investigation. And Eye on America. The harder you work, the more you make. Sounds good, but is it?
If you're looking to maintain regularity, look here. There's a drug-free way to do it, and Kellogg's All Brand can be an important part, because a high-fiber diet, including Kellogg's All Brand, can give you the fiber you need to help stay regular, drug-free. And All Brand goes a lot better with berries. A high-fiber diet and Kellogg's All Brand for drug-free regularity.
I thought all no-stick cooking sprays were just like Pam. Boy, was I wrong.
Only Pam is all natural with no preservatives. Only Pam.
And Pam adds virtually no fat or calories. For healthier meals.
All natural Pam, a healthier way to cook.
Today, you can get Maalox strength in a snap. Maalox Plus tablets. So fast, if you take them now, they'll start working now. Maalox Plus tablets are fast stomach therapy.
What could be an important new line of investigation tonight in the Weapons for Iran criminal case. In a plea bargain deal with prosecutors, a former key man at the CIA has promised to tell at least some of what he knows now. CBS News law correspondent Rita Braver has the story.
Alan Fires, former chief of the CIA's Central American Task Force, today pleaded guilty to 2 misdemeanor counts of lying to Congress about the Iran-Contra affair. And in what prosecutors called a significant development, he agreed to disclose any information he has about the Iran-Contra activities of current and former Reagan-Bush administration officials.
This plea of guilty and cooperation has created opportunities for the continuing investigation that we will pursue.
In court today, Associate Iran-Contra prosecutor Craig Gillen disclosed that Oliver North informed Fires he was diverting profits from Iran arms sales to the Contras, that Fires immediately reported the information to his CIA superiors, but when Congress asked about the operation in the fall of 1986, the official CIA line was to lie, to keep the spotlight off the Reagan-Bush administration.
And for the first time, a senior CIA official has acknowledged that he informed 2 of his superiors by late summer of 1986 that the United States was selling arms to Iran and proceeds were being diverted to the Contras.
In 1986, I was faced with some very difficult decisions. At that time, I did what I thought was in the best interest of the country.
No one would comment on what Fires will tell the grand jury still investigating the Iran-Contra case. But he could shed new light on a still murky 1986 meeting he attended with Donald Gregg, National Security Advisor to then Vice President George Bush, to discuss the clandestine Contra supply network. Gregg is now ambassador to South Korea. And Fires' admissions of the CIA role in the Iran-Contra scheme are bound to raise new questions about what Robert Gates knew, the man who was then CIA Deputy Director, now nominated by President Bush to head the agency. Rita Braver, CBS News, Washington.
The standard of living for Americans was down last year for the first time in almost a decade. That assessment today from a panel appointed by President Bush. It found the United States the only one of the world's top 7 industrial countries in which living standards dropped. Soviet President Gorbachev said today he will ask Western nations at the London Economic Summit next week to speed up the ruble's transition to an international currency. Also today, Russian leader Boris Yeltsin confirmed that he will back Gorbachev, his longtime rival, in the upcoming Soviet presidential election. In other developments making news around the world tonight, in Yugoslavia, Slovenian leaders and federal officials are accusing each other of jeopardizing a new peace accord. A bridge along the Croatian border with Serbia was the scene of another clash between rebel forces and Yugoslav troops. In North Carolina, a judge denied former Green Beret Dr. Jeffrey McDonald a new trial in the so-called Fatal Vision case. McDonald is serving 3 life terms for killing his wife and daughters. In Arizona, federal agents have seized a cache of drugs and arrested more than 30 people in a crackdown on illegal steroid sales. And in California, actor James Franciscus has died of emphysema. He starred in movies and television, best known as a dedicated English teacher in the TV series Mr. Novak. James Franciscus was 57.
I tell my son, before you go off to play, you better eat a good breakfast.
Experts recommend whole grain. Wheaties has it. These cereals don't. So if you want to get your whole grain,
better listen to your mom.
Better eat your Wheaties.
Quit stealing my line.
Red Lobster announces great new trios. Delicious trios you're gonna love, like our Atlantic Trio for just $6.99.
Terrific.
Or large butterfly shrimp, lobster Alfredo, and scallops.
Love it.
Or crab legs, juicy scallops, and shrimp.
Let's go.
Hurry, for a short time our great new trios start as low as $6.99.
$6.99? That's incredible.
Red Lobster for the seafood lovers.
feels to me always like someone's banging on my knuckles with a hammer. It's really uncomfortable.
Today, it isn't aspirin, it's Advil for minor arthritis pain.
Advil just really helps with the pain. It makes it go away. The Advil caused me no upset stomach.
Over 100 million people have tried Advil for many types of pain.
That means to me it must work, and it also means it must be safe, and those are two things that I'm interested in.
Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
If your doctor has recommended Metamucil and you like the results, but you don't like those glasses of thick liquid, change to FiberCon. Get the same fiber action in easy-to-swallow tablets. Get doctor-recommended FiberCon.
Warning, you're about to enter a jungle. Your first mistake, you brought your car. Driven to extremes on 48 Hours, Wednesday.
How safe are you at work? In tonight's Eye on America, business correspondent Ray Brady takes us to a steel mill that is killing the competition. But is it killing workers in the process?
We only do two things well. We build steel mills economically, and we run them efficiently.
That formula has enabled Maverick CEO Kenneth Iverson to build Nucor Corporation into America's 7th largest steelmaker, able to undersell giant Bethlehem Steel and even undersell Japanese competitors. Many call it the model for 21st century America, partly due to a revolutionary incentive plan called Pay for Performance. Nucor workers can double their base pay by simply working harder and faster.
The more work you put out, the more money you're going to make. So that's what it's all about in life, making more money to support your household.
But the Nucor's go-go ways have a human cost. Employees who count on bonuses for more than half their income seem ready to do almost anything to keep production rolling.
In heavy industry, that can be dangerous. The Nucor toll. Since 1980, 12 people killed in accidents, 2 within the past few weeks. Nucor says its operations are different from other steel companies. It makes finished steel products, a more dangerous process. But Nucor's death rate is still double the industry average. Heidi Yantes and her husband Brian worked at Nucor.
There's no way you can keep safety and cautiousness as a priority, because you're telling these guys, look, the more production you guys push out, and the faster you produce the steel, the more money you're going to get paid.
Steel mills are hot, dirty, inherently dangerous places to work. But at Nucor's Brigham City, Utah plant, when a worker was crushed under a stack of falling steel, state officials recommended that safety racks be put in. They weren't. Heidi Yantes' husband Brian was crushed under 30 tons of falling steel 6 months after the warning.
Well, they had not put it in yet because they had not finished the designs.
6 months to design a rack?
Sure. These are not simple racks.
They say they did nothing wrong, but the only thing that they didn't do right was to be responsible for the safety of their employees. And in my mind, Nucor was responsible for preventing that accident.
We're talking about your life.
Nucor says it runs safety seminars frequently, and it posts safety notices. But former worker Mike Bridges, 10 years at Nucor, says neither company nor workers really pay attention to safety.
When you're in an environment like that where you're pushing yourself to the max to make money, there's kind of a medium there to where you do things that you know you really shouldn't do. But by the same level, they condone you doing it, which, is not right. They should step in and say, hey, this is unsafe. You're not supposed to do it like this.
Iverson denies allegations that workers skipped necessary maintenance to keep the steel and the bonuses coming.
In order to get the continual productivity, they've got to keep the equipment in good repair. And matter of fact, I think probably it's in better repair than it is in lots of other areas where they don't have a bonus of this type.
Yet when Peter Hawthorne complained about a dangerous crane cable, nothing was done. The cable broke. He was crushed by falling steel beams. His widow sued the company and finally settled out of court. Laura Hawthorne says Peter was always telling her safety was lax. Somebody was going to get killed.
I feel like that if they'd have been taking care of their maintenance like they should have been, I think possibly my husband would still be here. My husband was very conscientious about his job. He always wanted to do a good job.
If you had anybody killed in General Motors and you went to the wife, what is she going to say? That she's not going to think it's a great place to work.
Workers signed depositions in the Hawthorne case, saying production was so important at Nucor, operations actually went on as Hawthorne lay dying.
I think that's just an outrageous accusation.
Anytime a company puts their production over a man laying dead on the floor, I have no respect for him. I just lost all respect for the company. That's why I quit.
Well over a quarter of America's biggest companies are experimenting with pay-for-performance programs, just like Nucor's. Some experts say these programs are the wave of the future for American industry. The problem, they add, may be controlling them so that they don't put success above safety. Ray Brady, CBS News, Grapeland, Texas.
We have an update on an earlier Eye on America, the story of Rosa Rivera. She was turned away by a hospital in Victoria, Texas, while she was in labor. It's a practice known as patient dumping, sending patients who can't pay to another hospital. Today, a federal appeals court upheld a $20,000 fine against the doctor involved, Michael Burditt. The ruling means the government will be able to punish other doctors and hospitals when they turn away patients. Coming up next on the CBS Evening News, a look back at the class of '41.
Introducing the new Gripper Zipper from Ziploc. Now the easiest closing bag there is. In fact, even the little one can close it. Hello. Feel the zipper. It's locking. Feel it close the first time, every time. Ziploc bags with the new Gripper Zipper.
Oh my God. Think about your daydreams and what you would do if you won 10 million. Out of the blue, imagine the bell rings, the winner is you. Publishers Clearinghouse, the house where dreams come true.
I need a laxative that can work dependably.
Doxadan can.
But can it be gentle?
Doxadan can. Doxadan works dependably overnight with a special ingredient for gentle relief.
Dependable? Yes. Gentle? Yes.
Doxadan can.
Throughout history, great barriers have been discovered and built. Heart's Blockade for dogs and cats is one of them. Used as directed, Heart's Blockade creates an invisible barrier protecting your pets from fleas and ticks before they get a chance to live on your pet. Heart's Blockade repels and kills fleas and ticks, including ticks that carry Lyme disease, reducing the chances of causing discomfort to your pet. Helping to improve your pet's quality of life is your responsibility. Helping you do that is Heart's.
I'm Paula Zahn. Are your children pushed to grow up too fast? Do they know too much too soon? Tomorrow, find out what kids think on CBS This Morning.
Well, President Bush is taking two Hall of Famers out to the ball game tonight. Joe DiMaggio and Ted Williams flew Air Force One to this evening's All-Star game in Toronto. Earlier, they were honored at the White House for their legendary 1941 season. Correspondent Bob Fall has more on that magical time 50 summers ago.
They couldn't have been much different or much greater. The brash Williams, then 22, loving it when they called him Teddy Ballgame. And the shy DiMaggio, only 26, who still says his greatest thrill was just putting on a Yankee uniform.
Everyone you talk to about baseball through the years, they say DiMaggio was the best player ever. But Williams was the best hitter ever.
And what they did 50 seasons ago has never been equaled. Williams, the splendid splinter, the last man to hit 400. His .406 average astonishing today's stars.
That's incredible. I mean, anytime somebody hit 400, I mean, that's 4 hits out of every 10 at-bats for a whole ball season. That's incredible.
And the Yankee Clipper hitting safely in an unheard of 56 straight games, the longest consecutive game hitting streak in Major League history by far.
I've managed 22 years. I wished all my 22 years I could have seen DiMaggio and Williams play. Right now in this era, and did a big shambles of it.
And how they did it was splendid, too. Williams risking baseball immortality by playing that final doubleheader, which he could have sat out to protect his .400 average, instead rapping out 6 more hits to become a legend. And Joe D. setting his mark with a grace no one has ever duplicated.
He had the dignity, and we admired dignity. Whether we liked it or not, whether we admit it or not, people who behave with quiet class we admire.
Back then the game was different, simpler, but even now what DiMaggio and Williams did seems larger than life, and 50 years later fans can only wonder whether this game, which has changed so much, where journeyman ball players now pocket millions, whether the heroes of today can do as well.
No, they probably won't, the experts agree, which pleases the still combative Williams.
I feel in my heart that if I could have been a fast player, I could have quite possibly, if I had been faster, I'd have done more, certainly.
Today, DiMaggio is content to sit back and, at last, enjoy what he did.
Now I'm so happy that I got the 50 years in. I was kind of pulling the last 3 or 4 years for it to be up to 50 years. And maybe now they can go ahead and break it. It's perfectly all right. At least I got 50 years in.
There they are. And 50 years later, fans are still cheering. Boys then, gods now. Bob Paul, CBS News, New York.
Baseball gods of tomorrow will be on the field tonight for the 62nd annual All-Star Game. You can see it here on this CBS station, followed on many of these same stations by your late local news. Dan Rather for the CBS Evening News. See you tomorrow. Good night.
Hello? Mom, what a surprise. Well, actually, my cereal's sitting in milk.
It's not always easy getting to the great taste of Kellogg's Crispix when you want to.
Uh-huh. But they wouldn't give your money back?
So it's good to know Kellogg's Crispix stays crisp and delicious in milk.
Helen didn't mean it that way.
Even if you can't get to it right away.
Uh-huh. Still crispy. You're absolutely right, Mom.
Kellogg's Crispix, the taste that waits for you.
It's time to rediscover American values with America's favorite minivans. Now, get special low monthly payments on Dodge Caravan and Plymouth Voyager, the only minivans with a driver's minivan airbag. Or rediscover American value with savings that make them the lowest price minivans you can buy with air conditioning and automatic transmission. Either way, it's time to rediscover American value on Dodge Caravan and Plymouth Voyager. But don't wait. These savings advantages won't last.
It's how steak is done.
Say, kids, what time is it?
It's Kids Day free time at Quality, Comfort, Clarion, and Sleep Hotels.
Huh?
Kids 18 and under stay free at Choice Hotels when you call 1-800-4CHOICE and reserve a room.
I knew something must be wrong. I was getting these sharp pains and sometimes pressure and bloating. I'm glad I asked my doctor. He said it was gas and recommended Mylicon.
Mylanta's Mylicon Gas. It has the best medicine for gas.
Here's news. If your athlete's foot won't go away, you could have more than athlete's foot. You could have a secondary yeast infection. That's right, yeast.
Only Mycotin cures both athlete's foot and secondary yeast infections with Myconazole.
Good evening, I'm Vicki Yates.
And I'm Chris Clark. Coming up next on News Channel 5's 6 o'clock report.